Hello and welcome to this video. We've had a few requests on how to freehand designs. So in this video, we're going to show you how to do that. Now, freehanding can be quite an intimidating process, but just by following some of the step-by-step guides on this, we're going to make it a little bit easier for you. Now, the key thing is always to try and make basic shapes when doing any kind of freehanding. So in this video, we're going to take you through doing a circle, we're going to take you through doing a skull and a laurel wreath. Now, we're going to do this on a banner. As you can see here, I've got a Space Marine banner, which has been undercoated with Macragge blue. Now, we picked a Space Marine banner because it's fairly nice and flat and it's got a lot of surface area to work with. You can use any other design like a tank or a Imperial Knight, it's entirely up to you. But for this one, that's going to be perfect. So the first thing we're going to concentrate on is doing our circular design. Now, the thing to help you out here as much as possible is try and find circular shapes that you can actually use to draw around. So as you can see on my palette here, I've got a couple of things I could potentially use. So I've got the little stopper that comes with the Artificer brushed little tubes. I've got a war cry token and I've also got a 5p piece. Now, depending on the size of the circle you want to draw, you can make it a larger penny, you can go for larger tokens, or just find something like a round base to help you out. But for this particular design, I'm actually going to go with a war cry token because that's about the right kind of circle shape I want. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of blue tack and I'm going to apply that to my banner like so. So I'm just going to put that roughly in the center like so. And then I'm going to get the token and then place that on. Now I'm just going to give it a little bit of pressure, move it around. Now the great thing about having the tack on there is I can then position it so either side is around about the same distance. So it makes it a little bit more central, like so. There we are with that token now placed on. What we're going to do now is draw around that with a pencil. Now you want a soft pencil, something like a HB, a B or a 2B. For this particular one, I'm going to be using a HB. I've got my pencil just here. You need to make sure it's nice and sharp as well. So what I'm going to do is start drawing around that design. Now, with it obviously being loose and separate, it makes it a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is just start working my way around, drawing like so, and just moving that banner around with me. Now, you've got a few ruffles and folds. It's fine because, obviously, as you work your way around, you can just add a little bit more pressure or a little bit less pressure as you get to these folds and ruffles in the cloth. Again, just take your time. And once you've drawn that circle, just take the token off. There we are with the token removed. You can see we've got our pencil circle now drawn on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start applying paint to this. So we're going to start off by using Corax White and we're just going to follow that circumference of the circle with thinned down Corax White. After that, we're then going to fill in the shape so we've got a solid circle and then we'll finish off by using a little bit of Macragge blue if we made any splodges or it's just a little bit wibbly wobbly here and there. But first of all, let's start just doing that line. So I'm just going to get a couple of dollops of Corax White. And a few dollops of water as well. Again, I want this a bit thinner because it gives me more room for error, just in case I don't make any splodges and stuff. So key thing as always is just make sure you get a nice point to your brush and then we're ready to start tracing around that. So all I'm going to do is just start on one end and just start working my way around. So I'll start about here. And then just start working around that pencil mark. Take your time. And again, don't worry if you make any mistakes because we can always tidy this up. There we are with that circular outline now picked out. We're going to use Corax White again, still thin down, and we're just going to start filling in. So just take your time and build up with a couple of thin layers because actually the thinner it is, it will look less streaky and goopy. So just take your time and work your way around. There we are with that circle now filled in. What we're going to do now is use Macragge blue just to tidy up any splodges we made and just to remove any more of those pencil marks. Now doing any freehand design, it's always better to do during the base coating stages. Because if you make any mistakes, you can easily correct it. Later on down the line when you've done like shades and highlights, it just makes it a bit harder. Just take your time, work your way around. And again, if you splodge onto the white, just tidy back up with a little bit of Corax White. And there we are with that circular design now tidied up. We're now going to move on to our next design, which is to paint a skull. Again, seems quite complex and a little bit worrying to do, but once you break it down into simple shapes, it's a lot easier. So I'm going to grab my pencil again. I'm going to draw this over that white circular design. Now I'm going to start with a circle, but it doesn't have to be as accurate as when we did this main circle, so because it's more of an organic shape. So what I'm going to do is just do a little circle like that, just to get started. Try and keep it in the center as much as possible. And then the best way to describe this is to just draw a little bucket shape underneath. This will form a bit of the face and the jaw. And then I'm just going to do two triangles, one either side like so. It looks like someone's got their arms on their hips. There we are, like that. There we are with that now done. What we're going to do now is move on to painting the outline of that skull shape. So for this we'll be using Macragge blue. And once that's done, we'll then fill that design in using Macragge blue again. And then we'll finish off by using Corax White to paint in the eyes, the nose and the teeth. And also just to soften around the edges a bit so it's not too angular. So first of all, let's start with Macragge blue. So I'm just going to get my small layer brush again. little bit of water. Again, we want this fairly thin, because it just makes it a lot easier to work with. So add a little bit more water. So it's probably like 2 parts water here to 1 part paint. So once we've got a nice point to the brush, we're ready to start moving in and then painting around that design. So all I'm going to do is just get my brush, just work over those pencil marks I've made, like so. With the outline now picked out, what we're going to do now is just use the same level of mix that we've done previously and then just fill in that void space like so. And just take your time, and a couple of thin coats will give you a nice bit of coverage. With that blue now dry, what we're going to do now is pick out the eyes, the nose and the teeth. Now, if you're still new to this, you can always draw it on with pencil, but I'm feeling fairly confident. So what I'm going to do here is just start doing the eyes. So you're looking at where this is like the cheekbones here. So you're just doing a couple of little triangles, like so, coming in. Do the same on the other side. And in places, you might need to get some more Macragge blue just to help sharpen up some of those edges as well. Again, do a couple of coats of this. Do the nose like so. And also at this point, because you've got Corax white, it's also worth just softening up some of the edges around here as well. You can always just make them feel a little bit more skull-esque. We've just got some teeth to do. Just stick those little, a couple of little lines like that. There we are with the eyes, the nose and the teeth picked out and any tidying up done. Our skull design is finished. So what I'm going to do now is move on to our final design, which is a laurel wreath. Again, another very common symbol that you see a lot of. So for this, we're going to start off by using Corax white. We're going to be painting this over the blue field. And then any tidying up we need to do, we'll use Macragge blue again. And if you're not feeling confident, just sketch it out beforehand with a pencil. But for this, I'm just going to go straight in. So I'm going to use my small layer brush again, just get a dollop of Corax white, and then I'm going to thin it down with a couple of paintbrushes of water. Again, just to give you more control. And you can always add more coats if you need to. So the key thing here is always make sure you get a nice point to your brush. And then we're ready to start sketching out the design. So what you're really looking forward to doing here is actually just making a big C. So I'm just going to start at the top here, not too high. And again, just take your time, work your way around, just do a big C. Trying to keep the kind of shape going with the circular design you've got there. Work your way around like so. Then when you get to about the middle part, just do a little wiggle coming down. The next part, I'm just going to get a bit more paint on my brush. I'm going to start picking out the leaves. So I'm just going to put a bit of pressure there and just keep moving upwards like so. Again, you can always pick them out if you're not happy with the first time you do it. Make that a bit broader. Just work your way all the way up and then just do the same thing on the other side. There we are, with both sides of the laurel wreath now picked out. All I'm going to do now is use some Macragge blue to tidy up any splodges or areas I'm not happy with. So I've got a little one down here. I'm just going to make that feel a little bit more like a leaf. And some of these leaves up here, you know, you've got a little bit there. So I'm just going to make that more defined as a leaf. And then just make this one a little bit smaller on the top. So just check over if you're not happy. And there we are with that tidy up now done. Our laurel wreath is finished, as well as the other designs on this banner. And remember, just by breaking those designs down into small, simple shapes will make your life a lot easier, as well as using extra things like we did in this video, like tokens and using a pencil as well. And also, the more practice you do, the better you get and your confidence will build. And before you know it, you'll be doing all sorts of weird and wonderful, wacky and intricate designs. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed painting your own freehand designs, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.